right, welcome to One Nation and SLM Extra. Tonight is Monday, June the 7th. I had to check myself, make sure I had the right date there, but we've got a fun program tonight. I think you're going to enjoy this. This is continuing with our series, A Look Behind the Scenes at Sports Locker Magazine. And tonight's guest, you've seen him before, just a couple of times, but you're going to have a lot of fun hearing what he has to say about this particular thing that he does with Sports Locker Magazine. But first, I'm going to bring on my special co-host of the night, Katie Gill. Hey, Katie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for taking up that little position tonight where you are filling in for this other guy that typically is in that spot, your husband, Jay Gill.
Yeah, kind of big shoes to fill, so I don't know how I got
And
tucked into it.
and that's literally, I don't know what size shoe he wears, but I know they're big.
Yeah, they are.
All right, and you got your kids. They're going, their feet are getting very large too. So maybe they'll be able to use dad's shoes. I don't know.
I know. Bowman and I can share shoes right now. Actually, I think he outgrew mine, so
No, no, that's okay.
he's well on his way.
Boys are supposed to have big feet, so I think that's just what happens. So
Yep,
hey, we're gonna have a little bit of fun tonight. Are you excited about our special guest that we have on here?
I am. I'm excited that he has to answer the questions this time
Yeah,
instead of asking them. So
right.
it should
Yeah.
be good.
You know, I couldn't quite do him justice as far as doing the introduction that he does for everybody. I mean, it's always so good. I was going to just throw that on you, but then I thought, she doesn't need that stress in her pregnancy. So I thought, I will just, we'll just come up with something. So,
Yeah,
we're,
I appreciate that.
yeah, it was big enough trying to get you to come on here. And I know you said, well, this is like 3 weeks in a row. And as I told Jay last night, we'll tell her that we're almost like 52 weeks in a row.
That is true, but this is your all's thing, and you do
It
such a
is.
good job on it.
Well, we do have a lot of fun, and I absolutely love having him as my co-host. And so, without further ado, why don't we just, you know, put all the smoke
Bring him
and
on.
stuff out of the way? Let's bring him on, and we'll just talk to him here in just a second.
Sounds
All right, enough
that's
said.
Wow, that was awesome. I mean, come on. That's all I needed right there.
That's
You
right.
don't need no smoke and mirrors when you got literal smoke and like colored lasers shooting out.
A little
Get the
thunder, a little
lasers,
lightning.
man. Get the
he's gonna want that.
lasers.
He's gonna want
That
that
was
every
great.
week now. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, before you bring me on, boom.
That has to happen for sure.
All right.
That
Well,
was
I thought you might. I thought you might like that, a little bit of creativity. So, hey, it's so good to have everybody joining us on here tonight. If you guys would please make comments in the program as we're going along. I am pretty sure eventually we will see your mom come on here and possibly some more of our relatives. So that's good because they just want to see you guys' lovely faces out there in Colorado, and so this is an opportunity for them to do that. But this is also an opportunity for everybody to be able to find out what's in the mind of Jay Gill.
Ooh, you don't want. You're asking some dangerous questions, old man.
Well,
Woo!
that's all right. Hey, that was a little bit of Ric Flair way back in the WWF day right there.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the first question. As a writer for Sports Locker Magazine, you're asked to put your creative spin on the stories of student athletes that we interview. Jay, how are you able to bring to life the personality of the person you write about, and why is that so important to you?
Well, for most of my journey with Sports Locker, I'm not able to attend those interviews. And so all I get is just this audio clip with you, Dad, most of the time, and you do a fantastic job in the interviews. I'll give you a shout out for that. And so you just literally ask the kids questions, and they answer. And what I love about it is you try to keep it so natural and so calm. It's just like having a conversation. And so you start to discover their likes, their passions, and it's really fun when a student just starts uh, when they just start going. You can tell when you've really found something they want to talk about, because they you can hear it as you're listening. You can hear their smile, their voice perks up, and they just start talking and giving you their life story. And so whenever I'm listening to that, I'm typing out the transcript. I want to get it word for word the best I can, and I just start putting notes next to it. If they make a joke, if they laugh, I'm including those notes in there. So as I'm going back through reading it later, I have a really good memory of that audio. And so at that point, it's just sit back and I start thinking, what did they say? What was their story? What did they want to talk about? And you really just have to start reflecting on, what story were they trying to tell? And that's how I write my stories. If you go back to the very first, couple issues, I think you can find, where it was more transcribed, like ask a question, here's their answer. Ask a question, here's their answer. And I discovered it's just not my writing style. I really like being able to be creative with it the best I can, and telling the story and sharing the story. So it's just listen to them and see what they have to say.
Yeah, it's a completely different thing, and especially when you have to do as many as what we do when you guys come in for the interviews and photo shoots. So we got to be creative. And of course, here we go, guys, from Arizona, Mama Bailey, saying hello. All right.
Hello.
Well, we're glad to have you on here with us, Jane. Jane, feel free to make any comments about your son that you feel necessary tonight. So glad to have you on here, and we're going to see a
Don't
lot
give
of
her
that face.
permission. Don't give her
Yeah,
permission to do
for
that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. She's going to start writing about all the horrible things I did as a child.
Okay. Well,
could be entertaining.
can be
So
entertaining.
Okay. It
Where
would
else
be.
you going to get that?
yeah.
All right, Katie, why don't you go ahead and go with the next question for him?
Okay. You've also started being involved in the interviewing process. I know you talked about how originally for the majority of your time with Sports Locker, you weren't able to go and do that. So now you are, with Kirk and I when we go out. So you get to kind of step in and do interviews with these students. What do you enjoy about that time? And does it give you an entirely different perspective when you write these articles? Now that I know sometimes before you'd be like, okay, show me this kid's picture so I can put a face to their voice, because sometimes that makes a difference. But now you're able to be there, hands on. So what's the difference with that when you're writing now?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I love being with you, my dear. I love
Oh,
being
thank
able to
you.
travel back to Missouri with you. You're welcome. It's more thank you for allowing me to come. Um, so I absolutely love that my new job has allowed me to be more freed up. The 2 times a year that we do travel back to Missouri, and I absolutely love being able to hang out with you guys. We honestly have a really fun time. If you know anything, my wife kind of mentioned it in the mornings. Make sure you get her coffee. Otherwise, not gonna. Could be a rough morning. Uh, but
That's the truth.
when you got her dad and her husband sitting in the front seat, just like, hey, we're ready to go. Hey, what's up, Dad? Hey, and we're hyper, man. We're hyper in the mornings. So anyways, she just
At
sits
least one of
there
us
and
is.
she
Yeah.
sorry, that's me.
That's all
And
right.
so yeah, no, we just got to make sure we get you coffee and get you to that level with us. And man, I've only been able to go back a couple times now, and it's been such a blast. I love being able to get all the content there with the students, and we do break it up sometimes. So even if I'm not involved in the interview, I am involved in the photography shoot, and then vice versa. If I'm not doing the photo shoot, I am doing the interview. And it doesn't matter which section I'm involved in. I'm talking to these kids and I'm just asking them a tons of questions. And there's even sometimes where I'm like, Dad, I really hope I get to write their article because I just talked to them during this whole photo shoot and they're really cool people. And it's fun to be able to see their personality out, live. And my goal is always to make people laugh, make them smile, um, and make these kids feel important, and, I want, high school goes by so fast. Before you know it, you're out on your own. And so I really just want these kids to be able to appreciate the time while they're there in high school, and that's why we want to tell their story. I have no idea what my mom's saying. I see it popping up, but I'm just trying to tell the story. But it's so much fun going to these interviews live now and being able to be at the schools and just have that atmosphere. It actually makes the writing even easier for me than it was before, so I'm loving that.
That's good. Well, just so you know, here's what she's saying. Jay is a delight. He has always been outgoing, fun, smart, and a smart. Well, nope, she finished on. He's smart and has a smarty mouth, but he gets that from me. Yeah, and then hey, we like I said, we got some family coming on. We got my sister Jackie. She's right here joining us from Salina, Kansas.
Hi,
So
Jackie.
we've got
Hey,
Missouri, Arizona, Colorado, Kansas. We got everybody involved here. So it's like
This is a national
everywhere.
syndicate. I don't know what to tell you. We're picked up nationally, by Facebook. So, anyways, you
Yeah.
can watch from anywhere in the country. It's
literally,
fantastic. Yeah,
literally.
Oh my goodness.
Right. We got your mom has another comment here. Jay would walk around his high school with a Bible with no fear. If he saw someone eating by themselves, he would make sure they weren't sitting alone. So that is awesome. And yes, I know you would do that. So all right, Kate, you got another question for him before we hit our break. So go ahead and do that
I
one.
do. All right. So during the interview, what are you trying to find out about the students or the coaches? And tell us about the challenges with that. This is one of those
That's
challenges, actually.
that's
Like right
the
there.
challenge right there. You'll ask a question and sometimes they freeze up like a deer. Just deer in the headlight look. It's like, I just asked your name, man. You can calm down. This isn't a high pressure interview. And so right away, I like to, make a joke and tell them like, hey, we're going live with about 2 million people, so don't be nervous. And it kind of makes them laugh. And I'm like, hey, look, this is really an easygoing process. We just want to find out who you are, what makes you tick, and what do you love about sports. We're not asking for really a whole lot. And so when you sit down with the students, we're just trying to find out why they love sports so much, why they've been playing it. And there are some times where the kids, they like sports, they enjoy that they're a part of sports, but that's not really their story. And so then as you talk to them and you dive in, you find out about maybe some of these injuries that they've been going through. And I've directed several of my stories to talk about some of these injuries because that's their story. Their story is about facing opportunities and obstacles head on. And I feel like that's super inspiring for other people out there because that's something we can all relate to. We can all relate to life not really going the way you want it to go. How do you overcome it? And so when you can hear those stories from peers and these students and hear how they overcame challenges in their life, we've talked to some kids where, there was heavy drug influences all around them and with some of their friends groups that they had to shut off. And that's the story. And so, at the end of the day, we're just trying to sit down and have a conversation and be just as relaxed as we are during our interviews. And so, really, before we bring them on, even now on Monday nights for One Nation, we spend a good 20 minutes just talking to them, warming them up. So by the time you guys see us live with them, you guys feel like it's this supernatural thing, and it's only that natural because we've developed that little bit of relationship, and that's all I need is just a little bit of time, help loosen them up, and let's just talk. Let's have fun. What's your story? That's the question I'm after. What's your story, and what would you want me to say about you? And it's just really fun to hear all the different things that these kids go through.
Well, and you do a great job as far as trying to draw that out of them. We'll get into that a little bit more after our first break here on our first sponsor. So we're going to go ahead and real quick play a quick video from Diesel Power Plus, one of our sponsors right out there in California. Jay's wearing that hat right off of Highway 50 and 87. This is Diesel Power Plus.
Every nation bow before him, bow before my Lord. Let every nation bow before him, bow before my Lord. Rulers and kingdoms will adore and bow before my Lord.
All right, that is Diesel Power Plus out in California. Delton and Ashley Rissler and their crew out there, they do a fantastic job. Got all sorts of things for you to choose from. I mean, I can't even begin to describe what they can find out there. I mean, just about everything. I don't think they have live animals, but who knows? That might be next. I don't know. They do have a dairy barn, which is ice cream, and that doesn't mean that they have cows, actually. It's good ice cream, and you got to wait until after Katie has that baby here in July. So
I know.
Just hold on. Hey, we got another great story before I ask this next question. This is from your mother again. And as a kid, Jay would run so slow around the bases, his little arms would swing back and forth super fast, but his legs were in slow motion. It's so funny and so cute. Jane, thank you so much for sharing that. It's like, Jay Gill, this is your life. Right here. That is awesome.
You opened up a can of worms, sir.
I did.
You opened up a can of worms. Now, look, I remember distinctly moving very fast.
Well, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that was just my arms. I mean, they were just going.
Hey,
but yeah, my legs were walking.
That you were doing your best, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Thank you. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
After I met you and you chased me down a few times, tackled me in a parking lot, I really learned how to run. You know what I'm saying? That's what inspired me.
Okay. We didn't need to get into that story, but okay. Hey, we talked a little bit about this before break, but Jay, you do a lot of additional research on the subjects for your articles that you write. Have you found that the additional research is beneficial in telling the story, and why is that?
I love being able to sit down at the computer and I just start Google stalking all my victims, if you want to call them victims. It's who I'm going to write the story about. And the cool thing is a lot of times there's already been some stories written about them with their averages from their sport, with maybe just a certain sporting event, whether it was a track meet or a basketball game, a football game. You can read, kind of about their story. I go on Huddle and I'll start researching them on Huddle. And I love being able to watch highlights. Oh man, it is so much fun to watch the videos and the highlights. My wife gets super annoyed and I'm like, hey, you've got to check this one out. And there's a few times she's like, whoa, that's cool. And that's when I know I'm writing about that event. That's the one I'm going to write about, because if she thinks it's cool, I know it's cool. And so it's fun, but it's also really helpful when you're trying to write their story, to see them in action and see them playing. And you can find that with almost everyone I've written about. I can find whether it's just a short story about them, something about an event, or actual video footage. And it's super cool to do that research. So I encourage, all of the other writers, do that kind of stuff, it is just fun. It's fun to see that. It makes your story come more to life.
That's right. It really does. And I mean, we've again done interviews on here, shown a little clips of videos and things like that of some of these student athletes. A good example is Kiara Strayhorn and running them hurdles. I mean, she just won the state championship in the 100-meter hurdles as a junior, and that is awesome. I want to do a quick shout out. Yeah, I want to do a quick shout out. We got Miss Laura Bourne right there in Montrose, Colorado. She's watching. Hi, Laura. And then also we've got Patty Barnhart McFeeters. She's watching us as well. Patty's always a great viewer and supporter of Sports Locker Magazine. Love having her on here too. So let's continue on with this. Jay, there's another article that you write consistently, and we kind of make light of this at the end of every program that you always get the final word. That particular article that you have is called The Final Page. What have you enjoyed about writing The Final Page?
You know, when you came to me, you kind of was like, "Hey, I just want to let you, get some of your thoughts out." I can't remember what kind of story you said it was.
What was I thinking?
I'm drawing. I don't know what you were thinking, but you wanted to give me a chance just to write about something, and so I was like, sure, I'll do that. I'll kind of be like a beat writer and do something like that. And the more I thought about it, it was like, where's this gonna be at in the magazine? How's it gonna be? And you're like, well, it'll be the last thing, and I'm like, perfect, the final page. And it took a while to come up with that, and I was really happy when I did. And
did I have any resistance on that title?
Not that title, and not that I remember. Good. If you did, I fought right through it and won. I've only ever let you made me change one title, and I still hold it against you. So anyways,
that's right. We hear about it again, right,
kidding.
Katie?
No, yep. I'm kidding. I appreciate your emotional intelligence to tell me when I might have gone a little too overboard. But I like puns, and so I mean, it's just what I do. I like my titles. Anyways, so when it came to the final page, I just was like, I just want to end on a really positive note. I just want to talk about whether it's just fun events going on or maybe some really fun, wacky sports from around the world. And so I just kind of dove into the final page head on and was just like, this is how I'm going to do it. It's going to be a really fun thing. And, COVID happened through the middle of all that. So there was definitely some, I wrote some articles about, just banding together, as a nation, and we're going to fight through this. And, I've just used that as the last page to hopefully entertain, but then to also inspire people, whether it's just funny or just to make them have some positivity in their life. Because this world is full of negativity, and we get beat down with it every day. And so that's kind of where that inspiration for me came from, was I don't want to have more negativity. Let's talk about the good things.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've done a fantastic job with that. We're going to get into a little bit more of that. Carolyn Rowden is watching. Hi, Carolyn. Good to have you on
Carolyn.
Here. Miss seeing you guys. So tell the family we said hello.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. One of the things people might be wondering about is that the intro video that we showed of you, Jay, had a lot of pictures of you with Katie and with your children. And then there were some videos of this guy that was in snowball fights, going down a hill on a shovel, sled, kind of thing, spinning around, and then being pulled by a horse and then crashing on his face at the very end. So a lot of people, when they looked at that video, they may have thought, that's Jay Gill. What's going on? I didn't know that he did all that stuff.
I'm a legend. What can I say?
You are. But actually, why don't you tell them what that is and how you use that in your article?
Yeah, so one of the fun things I like to write about is the wacky sports. And so it's funny, I was watching those videos just kind of beaming from ear to ear, because I'm like, oh, that's Yuki Gassen. And Yuki Gassen is a 7-on-7 team snowball fight. And I'm not talking just gather 6 of your friends and yourself and go have a snowball fight. I'm talking legitimate, like awesome tournament ring that is set up. and they have all these different obstacles, different things you hide behind. And this is popular in Japan. And so it's these quick ninja-like people running around with these snowballs just crushing each other. And I think the rules is you get like 50 snowballs or something per person. I'd have to read it. I know I printed it off here, but it's capture the flag style. So you have to run and capture a flag, and it is so much fun to watch that one on video. So if you have to look that one up, it's called Yukigassen, and it's really fun. I did write about that. It's funny, you pulled all the snow ones out. Shovel racing, that was a winter sport that began back in New Mexico in the 1970s, believe it or not. But these people get up to 70 miles per hour on a shovel. And I'm like, dude, you're going to be breaking your whole body if you don't land this right. And so when you see someone wipe out, you're just like, ooh, you know it hurts. But 70 miles an hour,
and think about that. I mean, a shovel, they're sitting on a shovel between their legs, and that's just not a cool thing at all. At all.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
No.
Yeah, wear a cup. I'll say that. And then the crazy one is ski-yoring. And so ski-yoring is when you attach yourself to a horse and get pulled. And so, like you saw him, he was reaching up for some rings, some metal rings. So he was grabbing the rings while he was going through this obstacle course and then launching himself on these ramps. And dude, it's nuts. But it's like people were, one of the sports I wrote about was literally people sitting in a bar arguing that I can beat your horse in a race. And it started this entire man versus horse marathon that happens every year. And sure enough, man has beaten horse. It's unbelievable. That guy did not, by the way, just so you know. The guy who wanted to try, he did not beat the horse, but he was drunk enough he thought he could. But you didn't have video of, I think, one of my most favorite sporting events that I wrote about. And you might be a fan of wrestling, and you might be a fan of thumb wrestling, but have you ever heard of toe wrestling? And that, you get full-grown men with their feet stretched out, locking their toes together and trying to wrestle each other, and that is awesome.
Why?
Because it is.
Just why?
What was what? Okay, so here the world champion was Alan Nasty Nash. And then you also had the other world champion at one time. His name is Paul Beach, but he goes by the Tominator. The Tominator. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up.
No.
I had an absolute blast writing about some of these sports from around the world. If I get this much of a kick out of it, I hope others do too. So that's where I get a lot of inspiration from wacky sports. I'll tell you that.
That's awesome. Well, hey, here it is, the throwdown. Ryan Olson, I challenge Jay to a toe wrestle. Boom.
Yes.
I would almost pay to see that. I said, would you? Okay, I don't know how much, but I would. That would be classic.
Sounds like on our next trip to Missouri, we're stopping in Springfield. Ryan Olson, you're going down. Damn. He's got a bad back. I've seen that dude. Once his sciatic nerve gives out, he's on the ground twitching. I thought he was dead. I'll get him all twisted up. Bring it on, buddy.
So what I want to know is, there like unfair advantages or strategies with toe wrestling? I mean, does somebody want to get an advantage by not washing their feet for like a month and, getting out there? I mean, because that to me is just gross even without it. So
yeah, it's pretty nasty, but that's why his name is Alan Nasty Nash. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
it just
gotcha.
Works.
And I'm just going to say that if anybody wants to read these articles that he's talking about, they're online. You can go back and you can look. A lot of them were over the winter months and stuff. But I will say I get the most Facebook messages about your sports and wacky sports and how entertaining it is. And you can kind of see why.
I love this. I love this right here from your mom. I mean, this is classic. We got to do this.
Oh boy.
Jay, be careful, or you may have to call a tow truck.
Classic, Mom.
That
That's a
is
good
awesome.
one.
That
That's a
is
good one.
awesome. That is
Good
great.
dad joke.
Yep. All right. So, Katie, why don't you go ahead and finish with the last question before this session ends, and then we'll have our next break.
Okay. Well, you've kind of already touched on it, but what brought you to coming up with these unusual sports? I know that you said COVID when there wasn't a lot going on. I know at one point you just looked at me and you're like, nobody's playing sports right now. What do I write about? And you were kind of stumped. But what has been kind of your inspiration for that and finding those really quirky things that nobody ever thought even existed, and they do, and they're serious.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You really towed the line with that joke. Nice. Nice. Good one, Ryan.
Oh my word.
So yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It was during COVID, and I had already written a couple of my final pages just trying to inspire people and be positive during COVID. This was very early on. We didn't really know what was going on, and so I looked at you one day and was like, I need to write about something. And I think you even might have suggested wacky sports. And so it's funny if you go on
It's
Facebook
Katie's
and
fault.
you start,
It's
it's
Katie's
all
fault.
Katie.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
all
take
my
credit
wife.
for that.
It's funny most people have Facebook. If you're using it on your phone, you go to like the watch page and there's videos they suggest for you, and everyone gets caught up watching stupid videos on Facebook. But they kind of direct them towards you. So mine's full of a lot of impractical jokers, and then I get all of these wild sports from around the world, and it's because my phone knows that's what I search for. And so it is awesome. I love doing it now, and I get all of these crazy fun ideas from Facebook and just these cool videos. And it's you can find some of the craziest things. I did that one on winter and talked about a lot of those. But then there was another one. It's called Marathon at the North Pole. Is that what that one was called? That North Pole Marathon at the top of the world.
Yeah.
People pay
Why?
$20,000.
Why?
No. They're not paying me $20,000. I'm paying $20,000 to go run a marathon at the North Pole. And you see people, they're literally like running on next to the ocean, but they're on the ice just running. And it's like, why? This is insane.
Yeah.
But people are like, yeah, marathons, those are easy. Put me at the North Pole.
Yeah.
I would rather do that. So, I mean, tons of safety that goes into that. They have to make sure people aren't dying and getting hypothermia. But it's crazy. I got that one because I was watching a video on Facebook about it. And I was like, well, this is awesome. I'm definitely writing about this. I will never do it, but it's awesome. More power to people.
I've got a couple of safety procedures for the marathon at the North Pole. One, don't do it. And two, ride in a car. Those are two right there.
Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
That's my rules.
good.
Or at least strap a rope around you and put it on a horse, get pulled most of the way. I mean, come on.
Yeah, or that or you make it even more interesting at the end of it, do toe wrestling. I don't know. Out in the cold.
Oh yeah. Frozen cold.
break your toe off because it's so cold. That would be horrible.
No.
All right. Hey, that's awesome. Let's go ahead and hit our break here. This is our other sponsor that we have for the program, and they are awesome, CNS Business Services, and we've got a message from Nicole tonight, so let's hear what she has to say.
Hi, I'm Nicole Wilson, payroll specialist at CNS Business Services. One of the many benefits that CNS offers to our employees is our in-house payroll. CNS employees get paid weekly, and we are here to answer any questions and assist with any payroll functions for our employees. We have a dedicated email specifically for the employees where they can get assistance anytime, or you can call the office as well. Unlike other places that they don't have the in-house payroll like we do, they might have a corporate office in another city. CNS is here to take care of our employees and their personal needs on the spot. If you want to know more about employment through CNS Business Services, apply anytime or come into our office at 1731 South Ridge Drive. Thanks.
CNS Business CNS. Say yes to CNS.
All right. Well, Nicole did a fantastic job there. That is actually Paula's daughter, and she did. She never really has wanted to do those videos, but she did a great job with that, and they do a great
Very
job.
good.
Yeah, they do a great job over there at CNS Business Services and making sure that they find people jobs, and they are still needing people to place in different positions. So. I know there are people out there that need jobs. That's where you need to go, CNS Business Services, and they'll get you hooked up. So, with that, hey, we are in our final segment, and Katie, you have done a fantastic job with asking these questions tonight. I mean,
Well,
wow.
thank you.
Right, Jay?
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
she looks great doing it. Like,
Yeah.
bam.
Oh, goodness. I got in a shower today, guys.
All right.
Okay,
So,
well, Jay, let's go on to you again. So on your most recent article, um, it was a pretty tough one. I mean, it just emotionally for you because it was so personal. And so tell us a little bit about that and the message that you wanted to convey to our readers, because I know that we sat down and you're like, I feel like I need to write about this and share this, but I'm so like always, positive and try to end on really, really happy notes and stuff, or quirky things or fun things. So this was a totally different situation and experience you had. So why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean it's been a pretty fun year for old Jay over here. Finding out, that you're gonna be a dad again. Trying to, help your wife through all of that, which she does amazing, by the way. I'm just trying to support her every way I possibly can. And so, it has been a challenging year. There was one night that I went out to Culver's. It was late at night. It was after I think it was after 9 p.m. And we were just gonna have a late night Culver's run. That's what the wife wanted. Sounds great to me. I'm never gonna turn down a butter burger with some cheese. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up coming across a hit and run accident, and I found a man dead in the middle of the road. And I honestly felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. When I drove by and saw it, I didn't quite, like, my mind was like, that's not what you saw. And it was like, no, I'm pretty sure I saw a sock. And it took my brain a second to wrap around it. But as soon as I did, it was like, throw the flashers on, whip over to the side of the road, and I just bolted out to the middle of this highway. And I was just like, I need to figure out what's going on. And sure enough, I mean, there's a guy, laying there, not alive anymore. And you're just looking around like, is there a camera show? Like, what am I rolling up on? Like, this is just something I've never experienced. And it really it shook me up for a while. I was talking with Kate about it, and I was like, I want to write about what I'm learning from this experience. And she was like, I don't think you should. My wife is very
I did
encouraging to
say
me
that.
on what. Oh yeah, you were like, no, no, Jay, this isn't appropriate for the magazine, for this article, for the message you always try to deliver. And I was like, I'm well aware, but I need to get this out of my head. So let me just start writing some stuff down, and I will let you proof it. And if it's terrible, I'm just going to start Googling some more wacky sports, and we'll go that route. And so, um, one of the things I shared in that article was don't wait. And that was the message I kept getting heavily in my heart as I was praying about it. And it was don't wait. And this is a message that could go to anybody. Um, it definitely touched me because I realized, we're not all promised tomorrow. We don't know what crazy events life is going to have. We don't know what's going to happen. So don't sit around and lose an opportunity because you think maybe I shouldn't do it. I think we've all had that calling, and we all have that feeling in your head, that calling that you should do something for someone, whether it's you see someone in a store shopping and you're like, I should probably buy their groceries, or I should buy that person gas. Um, the most expensive thing right now out there is lumber. I should buy some lumber for them. But you get that calling and you get that feeling, and whether whoever you want to credit that calling to, I credit that calling to God, but you can credit, whatever you're going to credit that calling to. Don't wait. We don't have forever. Um, Make that decision and say, I'm going to do that. I'm going to say hi to that person. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to call my mom because I haven't talked to my mom a lot. I love you, mom. Don't wait. And so it's like, you know, don't sit around and think that you have all of these opportunities. Just do it now. And so I've kind of ran with that. I've been running with that these last few months with my job, with my personal life, and I'm just trying to soak up and enjoy every bit of life that I can with my kids, with my wife, and just enjoy these moments. So, that's the message I really wanted to share um, in this last article.
Well, and you did a fantastic job with
Mhm.
relating that. And again, I know how difficult it was. I mean, obviously, Katie knows even more so how difficult it was. But just through our discussions, I mean, you had met the guy before that had even happened. And like you said, don't wait. You had actually spent a little bit of time ministering to him and trying to help him out in some different things, just trying to find out his story. And so I think that was probably something that made it even harder for you because you knew who he was and that he was homeless. And um, you just, I know your heart went out to him. It would have gone out to anybody, but it was a difficult thing. But you did very well. And I'm proud of you as your dad. Um, Proud of you for being able to tell that story and encourage people with a good message. Is that we can't wait. We got to take the time and do what we can for others right now. We don't know if they will ever have that opportunity that we could give to them right then at that moment. And that was a good example of somebody's life that ended before it should have. So great job. Katie,
Thank
why
you.
don't you, yep. Katie, why don't you go on with the next one?
Yeah. Well, first of all, sorry, I told you no, you shouldn't write about it at first. But once you did, I mean, it was just so heartfelt and touching and had such a good message. And I've had so many people reach out and just be like, this is the reminder I needed, And so um, it was pretty cool how God used that, how, that experience and just to reach other people and give them that reminder. So, anyways, I will move on. But tell us um, what you have found that is so rewarding to do these interviews and write these articles about these students and coaches.
Well, like I touched on earlier, the biggest reward is just being able to tell their story. At the end of the day, that's really the whole goal. We get to meet so many awesome people through this magazine, um, and being able to talk with these coaches, and have them, whether it's on our show or I'm writing an article about them. I just absolutely love meeting these coaches who have so much passion about what they do and about these students in mid Missouri. And I'm like, I grew up in mid Missouri, and I don't know if I ever felt that from the sports angle. Now I did a lot of drama acting class. I definitely felt it from that side, but I wasn't involved in all the sports side of it. And I'm like, kids need to know about this. Kids need to know how cool some of these people are and how much they care about you. And I want parents to be able to see it too, because if you know that, it makes you feel a lot better about putting your kid into a sport like this, and to do events like this. I even when I was going up through school, through the late 90s and the early 2000s, there was kind of that stigma, I feel like, about these tough coaches who tough and pound it and grind it out. And I don't care if you die while running the sleds in football, you're going to keep going. And it's like, it was kind of like, and it turns out it's not true. It's not like when you were going through school, Dad, in the 1940s, 50s, where however.
Whatever.
Anyway, I'm kidding. Anyway, no, and so I really like the fact that that we get to share these stories and introduce Mid Missouri to these really cool people, because I want parents to be like, that guy's cool. I want my kid to play sports for him. And then vice versa. I want these kids to be able to have their stories out there so people can see the struggles and the obstacles that these kids go through, that, life's not always super simple and it's not really easy. Look, here's what they're going through. Here's their story. And then, I think that'd be really cool as a high schooler to be like, yeah, someone wrote about me. And so that gives me the motivation to make sure I do a good job for them. And that way they're bragging about it to their friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. You do it. Again, fantastic job. And you need to see, I mean, I know you've seen this one, but you need to say hi to my mom. So you need to do that.
Hi, Peaches. Grandma Peaches. Hi.
Another person from Kansas right there. Again, all over the country right now. We got people everywhere. Hey, you've been a part of, again, as we kind of were alluding to earlier, One Nation, an SLM Extra, pretty much from the beginning. I knew when I started this that you were the one that needed to be my co-host. However, Katie's done a fantastic job filling in tonight. So if you ever can't do it,
I'm giving it back.
I know. No, Jay, you do such a fantastic job, and I'm so excited that people got to hear your heart tonight as we did an interview with you. And a lot of times you're just asking questions and you get to make a few comments. But what have you really enjoyed about doing One Nation and SLM Extra, and what have been the highlights for you with that?
Oh man, I've had so many. Like I've said, we've got to meet some really great coaches. One that comes quick to my mind is the interim president for Lincoln University right now, Coach John Mosley. I mean, what a awesome guy. And being able to talk to him a few times now, that's been truly inspiring, and it just fires me up and motivates me for even going in my personal life, going to work. I'm like, there's stuff I take away from him that you can apply to your own life. And so he fires me up every time we get to talk with him. We've had awesome students on here. You brought up Kiera Strayhorn. Awesome that was. The Jays basketball, the ladies basketball team, that was just so cool. Hearing from my mom every week, that's at the top of the list. Absolutely. Obviously getting to hang out with you, Dad, always a pleasure. Best interview we've ever did was with my wife. Shout out, baby. And then I've got to sit down and talk with Derek Smith, former player with the Kansas City Chiefs, Ozzie Smith, former player with the St. Louis Cardinals, and I'm just like, this is awesome.
You were too excited there. Hold on, it was Neil Smith from the Chiefs.
Oh, Neil Smith.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
yeah.
So you were moving too fast. So
I'm
Derek Spicer.
It was Derek Spicer. Yeah, always getting to hang out with my man D Spice. Always
That's right.
A pleasure. So, anyways, yeah, D Spice brought on Neil Smith, which was just a fantastic interview. And then, like I said, Ozzie Smith, it was so much fun. And so when I get to tell my coworkers, like, hey, I gotta go, I've actually got a Neil Smith on the line waiting for me, or I've got Ozzie Smith on the line waiting for me, they're like, dude, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, you better watch tonight. And so that's been really cool. And so yeah, I've absolutely loved One Nation and just being able to hang out and talk with people and keep hearing these cool stories. I think it's just another avenue that we get to share with Mid Missouri. So it's an absolute joy for me, and I love doing it.
Well, again, you do a fantastic job, and that's one of the things we try to do is to bring on a big variety of people, whether they're in the magazine, the community, outside the community, sports legends, anything we can do that. We've got August 2nd, we have Aaron Schust, who is an amazing singer, and he's going to be performing here in Jefferson City at Redemption's Inside the Walls concert. And that's on August 28th, but that's going to be fun having him on the program as well. Just a man with a great heart, and that's going to be fun. You know, I got my mom saying, you're all looking good. Love you much. Good job. And your mom says, and you're handsome, Jay. So that's good. You know,
Thank you. Thank you. None of it's true. They're old. They need their eyes checked. It's fine. But if through blurry vision they see beauty, then it's fine.
I think,
I'll take it.
I think you can just take this and put it on a continuous loop just to build yourself up every day. You know, put it at work on a continuous
Every day.
loop, and it'll be good. Hey, we've run out of time, but you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for everything that you do with the magazine. Thank you for being a great husband to my daughter, a great father to my grandchildren, the one that's on the way. We're excited about all that. So, Jay, hold on here for just a moment. But Katie and I are going to go ahead and close it out, and I might even give her the final word. What do you think about that?
Well, that's really not preparing me much.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. We'll be right back. Thanks for being on here, Jay.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Hey, that was your husband. He did a fantastic job.
He did. He
Yeah.
did. It looks like he does this every week.
Yes, he does. And that's why, the intro stuff and the ending stuff, I mean, he handles all that. And,
Oh, yeah.
he does a fantastic job with it. He makes the program. So why don't you just say a quick final word about the program, or Jay, whatever you want to say, and then I'll close this out.
All right. Well, we really appreciate everybody that hops on and watches these videos and supports Sports Locker. Whether you get the magazine in the mail or read it online or just watch us on Facebook Live, you guys are the heartbeat behind this magazine. So thank you for hopping on. I'm so excited to see the students and the coaches and everybody that's going to be coming on over the summer months. And Jay, you did fantastic. I don't know if you'll be able to talk me into continuing to come on. But you seriously do such a good job. Both of you guys do. And so, yeah, we just appreciate our Sports Locker family and all the support you guys give us. And I will let you have the final say.
I will. I get it. I get it one time. Here we go. Awesome. That's great.
Get it. Go.
No, we do appreciate everybody that joins in with us. Make sure that you hit the like button. Please make sure that you share the program with others, your friends. We just want to get this out there as much as possible because I think you see we have a lot of fun. We try to have a family-friendly program. And we just appreciate you guys being a part of this. This is One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra. Thank you for joining my co-host, Katie Gill, and our guest tonight, Jay Gill. And you guys have a great week. God bless you. We'll see you next week.